Hello and welcome back to Hop to the Top. Hope you're all doing well today. It's been far too long since I last spoke to you. It's been a week since the last Hop to the Top video, but it's been Christmas, so I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas. I've had a great one. If you don't celebrate Christmas though, I hope you've had a great week anyway. We're back though, and I've had a good break, a well-deserved break, I think. I know I shouldn't really toot my own horn a little bit, but it's been a well-deserved break, I reckon, from my part. I've been very busy pumping out the content for you the past few months, and I needed a bit of a break. But I feel rested, and I'm ready to get back into it and hit the ground running for 2020, which I think is going to be a big year for the TomFM channel, so stick around. So after a very successful season last time out, where we won the Swiss Cup and we won the Swiss Super League, which means that we go directly into the Champions League group stage, which is mental. There is plenty to talk about going into this next season, which is going to be equally as massive. First of all, we need to talk about Randy Schneider and a £40 million bid that came in from him from, you've guessed it, that's right, Blackburn Rovers. So Blackburn bid £40 million. The board said we've got to accept that. And to be fair, £40 million for Schneider, I was kind of happy to let him go. So I sort of let it happen. I didn't protest for transfer. But then this happened, which was mental. Randy Schneider declined Blackburn Rovers. He declined the contract, which means he is still, as it stands, a Grasshoppers player, which is mental, which, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy he's here. I mean, it did mean I had to cancel 2 transfers for £15 million apiece that I was planning to bring in with the money we got from Randy Schneider, but to be fair, I'm glad he's still at the club because he's a fantastic player. And it sort of makes him a legend at the club now, considering that he rejected a move to Blackburn Rovers, who are actually in the Premier League now, which is pretty mental. That's why they've got £40 million to spend. In this alternative universe, Blackburn have actually already got back to the Premier Division once before, but got relegated, but then won the Championship again. So Blackburn are a bit of a yo-yo club at the moment in the Premier League of all teams. So that's pretty decent going for Blackburn fans. Either way, that's the first bit of big news. Randy Schneider still at the club. There is still quite a few transfers to talk about though, so let's get into those. Very quickly on the outs, no one has been sold. A few players going out for free, young players that we don't really need anymore. But Jordan Platt's gone on loan to Ingolstadt in the German second division. I'm trying to get a few players out on loan this season, like your Platts, like your Hartmans, like your Brennans, players that we want to use in the future but aren't going to get too much game time with us this season. I want them to have full seasons under their belt, so sending them out on loan is probably the best option this season for a lot of them. So hopefully we'll see a few players head out on loan as well as Jordan Platt. But as we look to the ins, we've got 2 familiar faces joining us once again from Benfica. First up is Molnar, of course, the class striker that we had last season, scoring 21 goals in the league, 27 overall. He was absolutely brilliant last season, so welcome back Molnar. And also Felipe Cruz. Thank you for coming back to the club, Felipe Cruz. He was far and away the best player we had last season. A 7.69 average rating in the league. You can't say it because it's behind my head, but a 7.71 average rating in all competitions. He was brilliant last season, so I'm so glad to have him back this time around. There's also one more player coming in on loan from Benfica, and that is Adrian Bajrami. He is a Swiss player, obviously not our Bajrami. Hopefully he's not too much of a snake to us, but he is a bit of a snake because he started his career off at Young Boys, so he's a bit of a snake for Young Boys by now joining us on loan. But either way, he should be a decent player. Played in the division last season for Young Boys, played relatively well, so I'm looking forward to seeing how Bajrami gets on. He's got some really good attributes, particularly the technicals that matter, and his physical. So a good player, I think. And importantly, left-footed, so we can have him on the left-hand side of the defence, which I think is really, really useful. We then brought in 4 players for money, so we'll go through them in price order from lowest to biggest. First up is Finn Otto from Schalke. He is a backup centre-back this season with 2.5-star current ability and 4.5-star potential. Obviously not really going to be starting this season, but will come off the bench as and when needed, and if he realises that potential, that would be fantastic. So thank you, Finn Otto, for joining the club. Next up, for just under £1 million, we've signed Matthew Bottigliccini from Roma. He is a 19-year-old striker, already valued at £3.4 million, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, got some incredible mental attributes, slightly low on the finishing of 11, but he is predominantly a false 9, which is something we don't really have up front. It's something different to the strikers we've already got in Coley and Molnar, so I quite like that. Hopefully, offers a bit more flexibility to us up front. Now, I am having a few issues pronouncing Bottilicini. It's a bit of a mouthful to say, so we're just going to rename him. We're going to nickname him to something slightly different. Rather than Bottilicini, I just think simply Bottles is so much easier to say, so thank you, Matthew Bottles, for joining the club. For £1.1 million, we've signed another German. This time it's Florian Wirtz in from Cologne. He is usually an attacking midfielder, but we're going to use him as a central midfielder more often than not, as backup to Illich and to Schneider. Ideally, I want someone else coming in as well, but at least we've got Florian Wirtz coming in at 2.5-star current ability and 4.5-star potential. At 20 years old, he's already made 110 senior appearances with 17 goals and 11 assists, which I think is pretty good going. Most of the appearances as well coming in the Bundesliga, which is the top division in Germany, obviously. So already got top division experience at 20 years old. Hopefully, he's going to be a very, very good player for us. And finally, this is the big one. I think it's the most amount of money I've ever spent on a player in one go, and it's Harvey Elliott coming in from Liverpool. He found himself on the transfer list there, which is why he's coming in for so cheap. When you consider that his media description is a wonderkid, we've got a fantastic deal there. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential as an attacking midfielder on the right-hand side, but can sort of play anywhere in that attacking midfield if we need him to. I'm very, very pleased with this signing. Very, very pleased. He's expensive at £12,000 per week, and he does have a minimum fee release clause of £15 million. That was non-negotiable. The agent put it in there. We had to have that in the contract, unfortunately. So even if we do sell him for £15 million this season or next season, I think that's still pretty good going on our behalf for making money for the club. But already got 18 appearances in the Premier League. Obviously, still very young. Is going to be a big part of our squad this season, hopefully for a long time to come as well, if he lives up to his potential. So Harvey Elliott, welcome to the club. And they are all the transfers thus far. I mean, hopefully a few players going out on loan, maybe 1 or 2 players coming in, another central midfielder, maybe another centre-back, but I'm pretty pleased with what I've done so far. Of course, we want to do well this season. We want to retain our Super League title, and we want to do as well as possible in Europe, where we start, of course, in the Champions League. But that's not the biggest news in all of European football, I've got to say. If we go to the league table and click on Basel, they won the Europa Conference League last season, which is fantastic stuff for us. They beat Arsenal Tula in the final, which is really, really good. So we've already got a Swiss team winning a European competition, which means we are well on our way, really, with the targets that we set out right at the start of this series. We've got Grasshoppers back into the Swiss Super League, we've rebuilt the squad, and we've got ourselves back into the upper echelons of Swiss football, also qualifying for European football in the process. And we've built a team capable of winning the Swiss Super League, as we did it last season. We won the Super League last season, so we've already crossed off 3 of the 5 things we wanted to do. We are making fantastic progress with number 4, getting far in European competitions to build up Switzerland's European coefficient. Obviously, Basel have helped us out massively there by winning the Europa Conference League. And now that we've qualified for the Champions League, we're starting to make way with point number 5 as well. So pretty good progress, I've got to say, with everything so far. What it means for the Swiss Super League is we've jumped up from 14th to the 10th best European competition, which is pretty good going, overtaking divisions like the Turkish Super League and the Belgian Pro League, which I'm pretty pleased with. What that means for us is there are now 6, that's right, 6 places available for European football from the Swiss Super League. That's more than half the teams qualifying for Europe next season, which is crazy. 2 of them go straight into the Champions League group stages, which is really, really big. One of them goes into the 3rd place qualifying round, which is pretty good going. The team in 4th goes straight to the Europa League group stages, whereas 2 go into the qualifying rounds as well for the Euro Conference League. So we've got teams entering every single stage of the European competitions, which I'm really, really pleased with. As long as we keep doing well, and as long as we keep performing well in European competitions, we'll keep rising up the rankings, and that'd be fantastic. So hopefully we're going to see some big progress from some sides this season. Going back to last season's table though, obviously we need to keep eyes on, obviously us, Basel, Luzern, Young Boys and St. Gallen. They're the teams that have qualified for European football this season. But in today's episode, we're not thinking about European football just yet. We're looking at the league. And today's first league game of the season is once again against Young Boys. So already an immediate test for us right at the start of the season. We're going to be sticking with the same tactic that worked pretty well last season, although I have changed some roles around a little bit. A few of you are saying that Alex Smith has to be that attacking playmaker because it works a little bit better. So we've made Smith the attacking playmaker, and it means we've now got a box-to-box midfielder in the midfield role rather than an advanced playmaker. Also, I kind of want to experiment with Harvey Elliott being an inverted winger on that right-hand side and Claude Maurice being an inside forward on the other side of the pitch. I want to experiment with that a little bit to see how it works out. Anyway, the starting lineup for today's game is Hunter Ball. He is in goal today because Fructal is currently injured for another 4 weeks or so. He got injured in training at some point, so he's going to be out for a little while, unfortunately. So hopefully it's not too much of a big issue for us. But Hunter Ball is ready to make his league debut for us. An almost unchanged backline. We've got Boone, Bajrami, the new centre-back coming in, of course, Augusto and Cruz, with Illich partnering up Wirtz in the midfield today because Randy Schneider is currently recovering from a little bit of an injury. He'd be out for another 2 weeks or so. Claude Maurice stays on that left-hand side of the pitch. Where is he? Tim Wright is almost back from his broken leg. Potentially another 2 months out, but is back into rehab training, which is good to see. So Tim Wright, you're nearly back. Alex Smith, of course, staying in that advanced playmaker role in the attacking midfield with Harvey Elliott on the right-hand side of the pitch. And Molnar is going to be leading the line for us today as we kick off the new season. And so for the first time this season, kickoff is upon us. Obviously a very, very tough game to start the season off against Young Boys, but we've got a better squad than we did last season. So I feel like we could get a decent result against a Young Boys team that disappointed last season, only finished 4th last season. So they'll be very disappointed with that as Claude Maurice runs forward, can't quite score the opening goal of the game, but a good attack from us at least. The resulting corner is put in by Felipe Cruz, and it is clear, but only as far as Felipe Cruz, who can put it in once again. But it was a terrible cross, and Augusto picks it up at the far post. He puts it into Harvey Elliott, who puts it in the middle. It's just about cleared by Young Boys there, but a good bit of pressure from us, as it's now at the other end of the pitch for Young Boys to have a go. Although Harvey Elliott gets in there, racing forward, our new number 7, looking fantastic on the ball. Shot, though, was a very, very weak one. So let me know in the comment section if you got a copy of Football Manager for Christmas. I want to know who you're playing with, and I want to know how you're getting on in your first few seasons in your saves. Let me know in the comment section how you're doing, and if you're trying to do something similar to Hop to the Top. Speaking of Christmas, you may notice from the videos, as you can see my face just about every day, I have an ability to, or inability I should say, to grow any facial hair. I just can't grow facial hair, which you can imagine my surprise then when I opened a Christmas present this year as Young Boys, just don't score a goal there, which is lucky for us. Imagine my surprise then when on Christmas Day I open a present and it was a wet shaving kit. And as the Young Boys come forward, Hunter Ball with a great save. Thank you, lad. Now, I can't grow facial hair, so I don't really shave at all, let alone wet shave. I don't really have enough facial hair to constitute any sort of wet shave. But I thought, okay, before today's video, I'll smarten up and I'll use my wet shave kit. And it didn't go well. I'll put a picture up on screen now. It was my first time I've ever wet shaved because I've never done it before. And I'm 22 years old. I've never done it. And I feel a bit embarrassed to say that. But of course, some of us we just can't grow it, okay? I've learned to accept it now, and it's something I've got to get used to as I cry myself to sleep every night for not being able to grow facial hair. Anyway, to make me feel better, I want to hear your shaving horror stories in the comment section because I want a good laugh and I want to feel better about myself, so let me know in the comment section. Either way, as we go into the second half, not an awful lot has happened really. We are far and away the better side in today's game, but with 18 shots on the board now, we still can't find a way into the back of Young Boys' net, which is frustrating as the corner comes in, cleared only as far as Illich. Claude Maurice on the ball. He can't do much with it. And again, here come Young Boys. And has Illich been sent off? No, it's a yellow card, luckily. I thought it was a red card there, a second yellow, but only his first of the season and the first game, which is good to see. It's not good to see at all. We don't like yellow cards, although we seem to get an awful lot of them. Though Felipe Cruz hasn't got one yet, which is very impressive, I've got to say. Usually he gets one every other game or so. He gets an awful lot. We saw last season, we looked at it, he had like nearly 20 or so. Claude Maurice, though, is coming forward into Molnar in the middle, back to Claude Maurice, who can shoot, but still can't score. We need to do something about this. We need to maybe just change things up slightly as Claude Maurice and Molnar not playing particularly well. Matthew Bottles is not on the bench because he did have a knock over pre-season, so he's not on the bench today, but Coley is on the bench, so we're going to bring him on for Molnar, and then we're going to bring Dajaku on for Claude Maurice. Whilst I'm looking at the bench as well, I should probably mention out to you, Enrico Maracucci is a player that's come through our youth ranks, has not been renamed yet by anyone on the Patreon, so if you've not got a renamed regen yet on the Patreon, you might want Enrico Maracucci because he is 4-star potential left back who's coming through and will probably look to replace Boone at some point soon, I'd imagine. Either way, he's just a player that I thought you should probably know about. So there we go. They're the changes that we're going to make, confirm those substitutes, and hopefully we're going to get some goals with Dajaku and Coley on the pitch. We're going to go a bit more attacking as well to try and get a few more chances for us as The corner comes in for Young Boys, who have been limited to 5 shots in today's game, and I can see the goal coming right now. Augusto can just about get it clear, but the ball's only going as far as Young Boys, although Coley gets in there. Come on, lad. Come on, Coley. Still can't score. Really, we massively deserve the win here today. I don't understand how we aren't winning, really. 23 shots to their 5 shots. We are absolutely dominating today's game. Dominating it. And yet here come Young Boys. Their number 8's through. Luckily, can't put it on target. Hunter Ball has played very well today, I've got to say. The young goalkeeper sort of thrown in at the deep end. He's been doing very well in today's game, making some good saves. As Felipe Cruz into Harvey Elliott. Come on, lad. Get it out towards Dajaku. That's a great ball. Dajaku into the middle. Wirtz is there. It's a penalty. Oh, it's going to VAR first of all. But surely a penalty. Oh, it is a penalty, which Harvey Elliott is apparently going to be taking. I want to change it, but I couldn't change it. So Harvey Elliott, come on, lad. Don't let me down. He doesn't. He gets a goal on his debut. We go 1-0 up against Young Boys, which is very much deserved. You love to see it. I've got to say, looking at the stats, the 3 points is definitely deserved from us today. As Harvey Elliott looks to come forward again. Looks like he goes for a weird shot, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but the keeper collects it. And he now has a chance to punt it up the field. It only goes as far as Augusto, who collects it and plays it down to Felipe Cruz. Illich into Alex Smith, up towards Coley. Come on, Coley, show us what you're all about. As he looks to put the ball into the middle, he doesn't quite do it. The ball cleared. It only goes as far as Augusto, who gets out to Felipe Cruz again. So we've got another chance to come forward through Harvey Elliott. Once again, he seems to be at the heart of everything, although does get tackled there. And here come Young Boys on the counter-attack, putting it just wide. Come on, lads, let's hold on. Let's get off attacking. Let's go to balance for the final 10 minutes or so. We don't want to concede any goals. We just want to hold on to this 1-0 lead now. We're having an issue scoring goals today, but I suppose that Basel defence and goalkeeper is really good. But Harvey Elliott through once again, still can't score a goal from open play. I mean, I'm slightly disappointed by our lack of goals in today's game, but I can't really fault the attacking play. 26 shots we've had, 13 on target. We've been really, really good. We just should have scored more of them. That's the only issue I've really got from today's game. Been very impressed with how we've played, and hopefully this means it's going to be another successful season, as we can't quite get that final ball forward. As again, Young Boys looking to come forward, they give it straight back to us in the 90th minute of the game now. They've got the ball back, and if they score a 90th minute equaliser, I'll be really cross, because we've played so well today. We just can't score the goals. That's the issue, is they're through. And luckily, Hunter Ball was on form there to make a crucial save. Well done, lad. And luckily, we end up winning the game there, thanks to Hunter Ball's magnificent saves, I've got to say. He really kept us in that game, because the Young Boy attacks, they were pretty decent. It is frustrating, though, because we should have scored plenty of goals in that game. Plenty of goals. Hopefully our strikers will find some form very quickly this season. So temporarily we go second in the table behind a new team that we haven't played before, but they are actually quite a good team, I think, in real life. I can't tell the first bit, but Zamax, something like that, playing in our division this season. They got promoted last time out. You'll also notice Zurich still in our division. They won their relegation playoff as well. So luckily for us, Zurich still in our division. And as if by magic, we're actually going to play both of those teams I just mentioned next episode. Zamax and Zurich coming up next time out, because in between those two games is the Champions League group stage draw, which is pretty exciting. So I will see you for those two games and the Champions League draw. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for your patience over the past week or so whilst there have been no videos. I needed that break, and I feel refreshed from it. Of course, as per usual, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you next time for some more Hot to the Top. Have a good one. Goodbye.